are you doing in my swamp?
Ah, what a beautiful day. And what better way to kick off the first video on your channel, shut up, than to talk about Shrek. Shrek, you know, one of the, if not the, most beloved Western animated characters of all time. Let not his success and impact go undermined. This Shrek has been through it all. I meant to say ogre there. I mean, we're talking 4 movies, multiple animated specials, a side character getting 2 spin-off movies, multiple video games, multiple YouTube videos for some reason, and also the musical, which I think was pretty good. Don't let these friggin' Democrats tell you otherwise. You know, Shrek is one of those movies that defines a movie studio. You know Dreamworks animation for Shrek. You don't know Disney for Mickey Mouse. You know Disney for their satanic rituals and corporate greed and The Little Mermaid. Shrek is everywhere. Even if you've never seen Shrek, which, don't lie to me. I know you've seen Shrek, and being lied to hurts my feelings. But hypothetically speaking, if you've never seen Shrek, you've definitely seen this funny green guy before. Whether it be referenced in pop culture, a random t-shirt in Walmart, maybe you've seen Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life. He's everywhere, and it seems that everybody loves him. There was a festival dedicated to Shrek, which unfortunately ended earlier this year. But a few years back, they banded together with over 200 online content creators and animators to recreate the original Shrek movie. There are not too many characters that get this level of love, but with all this popularity, I mean, he's still talked to this day online, all this success, all this admiration of Shrek, I'm surprised that nobody really discusses where Shrek began. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today, I'm going to talk about the children's book by William... Oh, this is wet. I'm going to talk about the children's book by William Steig, Shrek. The book that inspired the movies. Well, more specifically, the first movie. So, let me give y'all a little synopsis about what happens in Shrek. Shrek's a big, ugly ogre. And he's the ugliest. That's really all that's described about him. But one day, his parents decide to kick him out, literally, so he can do his own damage to the world. Shrek finds a witch and startles her, and then goes, "Witch, tell me my fortune, and I'll trade you one of my rare lice." And she says, "Ochki pochki itchki pitch, pay attention to this witch. A donkey takes you to a knight, him you conquer in a fight. Then you wed a princess who is even uglier than you. Ha ha ha, and cockadoodle. The magic words are apple strudel." So Shrek goes, "Oh, a princess. Alright." Now let's be real, this is a horny quest. He doesn't have to save her anything, this man's horny. Shrek's walking, some rain happens, lightning says to thunder, "Oh, this creature's disgusting. We gotta kill him." And they shoot lightning at him, and he eats the lightning. Shrek goes into some woods that gave him the warning, "Hearken, stranger, shun the danger. If you plan to stay the same, you'd best go back from whence you came." He meets a dragon, and the dragon puts him to the ground. But then he shoots a blue flame between the eyes of the dragon. By the way, Shrek can breathe fire. Shrek then took a nap and had a nightmare that the children of the land loved him. One of Shrek's only fears is being admired. He woke up and was like, "Oh, thank the heavens, it was a dream." He then meets a donkey. He says, "Apple strudel." And the donkey goes, "I gaze in the green as I graze in the green. Seeking out the clover, I laze and spend my days in the green, a chewing, chomping rover." Shrek calls him a jabbering jackass and tells him to take him to the princess. They get to the castle and they meet the knight. He says, "I'm going to marry the princess." And the knight goes, "Over my dead body." The knight's about to attack Shrek. Shrek spits his fire on the knight, causing his metal armor to get really hot. He jumps into the moat to cool off. Shrek enters a castle and gets into the Hall of Mirrors. I guess this is the first time he's seen his own reflection, because this is one of the only times not in a dream, he actually gets scared. And then he realizes it's himself, and he gets very prideful and swaggers along. He then meets the princess, a dame, isn't she? Says apple strudel, she says cock-a-doodle doodle. They recite rhymes to each other, get a little frisky, and then agree to get married. And they live, as the book says, horribly ever after. Finn. So, that's Shrek. It's about a 10-minute read, if you're illiterate. So my review of this book is, I mean, for a children's book, this is rather enjoyable. It's nothing too complex. The story doesn't go anywhere crazy. This book doesn't do anything complicated. It's a point A to point B type of story. It flows. It is definitely entertaining. I enjoy the subversion of the common tropes caused by fairy tales. Instead of being a noble knight, bravest knight of all the land, or the fairest maiden in all the land, he's an ugly ogre who's told he's gonna marry a woman. But the book is entertaining. The art style encapsulates the vibe this book gives perfectly. Honestly, it's crude. The art style's crude. The storytelling itself. But that was just my review. It wouldn't be called overanalyzing Shrek if I wasn't overanalyzing. Did you know that scholars have unironically debated the themes of this book? Now, I've read this book multiple times. I would say within the past week, I've read it maybe 10 to 15 times. And I'll be honest with you, the first... Really? Anyway, I'll be real with you. The first 12-ish reads, I wasn't really gathering anything of a theme from this book. Again, the book wears all of its substance on its shoulders. But if I were reaching, I would probably say one of the themes I could grab from this book, there's bad people. And sometimes these bad people get what they want. Basically, we're introducing children to politics. It took me until my 15th read, and then I got it. One thing I've noticed in Steig's Shrek is throughout the entire book, he is essentially destined to be the bad guy. He's an ogre. Everybody's afraid of ogres. Nobody likes ogres. His parents literally sent him out to do damage into the world. This man was destined to do bad. He is, by default, a bad guy. But I've noticed, Shrek doesn't really do anything bad in the book. As a matter of fact, most of his interactions, okay, other than the guy he made pass out and stole his quail, he's rather fairly alright to everybody. He made a fair trade with a witch, offering his, rarest ticks, or what are they, lice. Why does Shrek have lice? He has no hair. Where's the hair? But I like this. It gives you the idea that Shrek's not really a bad guy. He's just more of a social outcast by default. Now, comparing this to the movie, I would like to say that the movie is definitely so much better in almost every aspect. They gave characters that are from the book more personality. Donkey was always a talking donkey, and he becomes Shrek's best friend. The princess doesn't have a name in Steig's book. She's Fiona, and the being ugly is a curse. Also, let's not get into the presentation of the movie. Everything about it is just so much better. However, I enjoy Shrek's characterization in the book. He's the bad guy. He knows society deems him the bad guy, and he just rocks with it. Whereas Shrek in the movie knows he's the bad guy, knows society deems him the bad guy, but he has an issue with it, and it takes making a friend and finding a woman to love to realize, hey, sometimes you just gotta appreciate who you are. Now, of course, the book itself was a good read. If I was a child and I read this probably would have been one of my favorite books. Unfortunately, I was raised on Harry Potter. But truly, what makes the movie better is its timelessness. Emperor Lemon made a video analyzing SpongeBob, saying why there will never be another cartoon like SpongeBob. And one of the things was, everybody can relate to it. There's something in there for everybody. Like the movie, there is something in there for everybody. Whether it be the humor, the morals, the characters, any of that. Anybody can enjoy Shrek. Whereas, in the book, Shrek's just, a bad guy, enjoying being a bad guy, talks to Donkey once, and gets the princess, and that's literally it. I mean, again, it's an enjoyable little read, but I can't see it being for everybody with just how straightforward and abrupt it is. One thing I will say, however, is I enjoy how comically OP Shrek is in Steig's book. I mean, he shoots fire out of his mouth, he shoots lasers out of his eyes, he can eat lightning. So what I'm thinking is, wouldn't it be funny if the first Shrek movie had Streg's canonical powers, but the rest of the movie was, you know, the same. And yeah, this is my over-analysis of Shrek. I guess not really. I have the IQ of the grass around me. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I guess I will end this video off with a question, which is...
I did student scared like when I got this book.